This vessel is an ancient piece of technology. I have goosebumps when I say that. This is an ancient piece of technology that we need to take care of. We need to be a custodian of this before we can be a custodian of anything else.
This is Livy von Goh, a holistic sleep expert on a mission to empower the world to unlock the transformative potential of sleep.
Rest is a right and not a reward. And that is something that we have to undo in our programming. Not to say leave the doing, we still need to do, but there needs to be a balance, and right now we're very imbalanced.
But how do we actually sleep well? And when? And how much? Livy distinguishes between 4 different chronotypes.
Bear is the 9 to 5 type. Lions are early risers. The dolphin are more of those overthinking, airy types who have a lot of energy and can barely sleep. The wolf.
Yeah.
I'm the wolf.
Who's the wolf?
I'm a late riser.
But what exactly happens during this third of our lives where we are just gone?
Imagine the dream world as an emotional library. And so what you're doing is you're revisiting these files and you're making connection. And that's how you gain your insights.
So if we sleep properly, we wake up the next morning as a tiny bit better version of the self that went to bed the night before.
The exploration into who you are and it's just within reach every night. People go to plant ceremonies and they go to spiritual experiences, and I'm all for that. Everyone is on their own journey, but you also get a chance to do that every night.
Without any substance, just with yourself. Yeah. So many people these days are trying to hack their sleep, to squeeze in 1 or 2 more hours of exciting things to do, but not Livy. The way you see sleep is not less exciting than being awake, right?
Because I have a really rich sleep life.
Yeah.
I
love
I have a really rich sleep life. I have jumped into different multiverses. I've visited other people's dreams. I've been visited as well.
And from there, our conversation drifted into one of humanity's oldest mysteries.
Sleep is nature's best attempt
Yes.
at immortality.
In the whole self-optimization, biohacking, sleep improvement niche, speaking of Brian Johnson, there's a trend of like, oh, maybe death is something that doesn't need to be part of reality. All right, let's dive into this profound Custodian Podcast episode with my dear friend, Livy von Goh. Welcome to the Custodian Podcast, Livy.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Me too.
And to dive into all sorts of realms that are important for us to, like, I find it very interesting that the whole notion of improving yourself, hacking your own biology and all of that is getting more and more mainstream, and people are becoming more conscious about sleep, about exercise, about nutrition, about all these things, and I love that. And at the same time, I think a lot of that is done fueled by the driver of I want to be better, I want to be more interesting, I want to earn more money, I want to be more productive, whatever. And what I would like to have as the underlying, like the current under our conversation is how can we improve ourselves so that we are able to serve more, so that we become, and that's for me what it means to be a custodian, to work on your own capabilities in order to become a greater gift to the world and to everything that is true and beautiful and meaningful for you. And for that, we need to play at our own highest levels, and we need to look at all the things that are important for us to function in a way that actually can be of service, that has the capacity for that. And yeah, for that, I would love, so like my personal intention for this conversation today is to throw all sorts of interesting ideas and questions at you, because like for me the topic of sleep is one that I think as an amateur I'm studying for the past 10-15 years, that is like very present. And in preparing for our conversation I realized, wow, I actually did a lot of experiments and I did a lot of interesting things around that, and I would love to have your opinion as somebody who is an expert on that, who actually did a lot more work, a lot more research, and guided a lot more clients into this essential part of what it means to be a human being, and at the same time take the topic of sleep as a door opener into other realms that want to be explored, I would say, that are under the umbrella of how do we want to be in this world and how do we want to be a human. Does it resonate with you?
Wow, there are a lot of touch points there. But I think your curiosity is very beautiful, and thank you so much for seeing me and the work that I've done on myself and the work I continue to share with others. I think the first thing that comes to mind is that rest is a right and not a reward. And that is something that we have to undo in our programming. Like you said, we're very much in the self-improvement, the doing, being productive, being better, and what is that? How to be a superhuman in so many ways. But I think we need to reverse this idea of having to achieve all these things in order to be superhuman, but rather start to remember and awaken that remembering and awaken that inner knowing, that intuition that we are gifted with within us. And that is more a way into the gateway of other realms, as you say, or the gateway of what we're capable of, as opposed to that constant doing. And not to say we can't leave the doing. We still need to do. That's very important, but there needs to be a balance. And right now, as I see it and as I've experienced it, we're very imbalanced. Yeah. So I think I super resonate with all of those people who are in that, frame of mind of having to be productive and hustle and achieve things and have ambitions. And we need dreams. We do. This idea of letting the ego die and becoming nothing. Oh, we can't
moving into the cave, meditate all day.
If we all did that, then what's the point of existing?
Yeah.
We need that fire. We need that pulse. We need that dreaming in order to create the world that we see today. I think everything coexists together, is what I'm trying to say. And I think my journey into sleep and dreaming has really confirmed that there's space for everything, that everything needs to coexist together. And what I really want to help is to help people find that balance so that they can regenerate from within and be the best vessel they can be, learn the body's natural intelligence that we get to learn every night when we go to bed. We become a supercomputer.
Every day we are invited to practice. How amazing is that?
Yes.
Everybody does that.
Your subconscious and your unconscious, they're actually the C-suite of your life. They are the C-suite. So I'm just teaching people to understand that and to guide them better towards listening. Because that's what it's really about. It's about listening. And oftentimes we're going through life on autopilot. I got this person to see, that place to be, that task to do, that's taken me 3 weeks to do. So we're bombarded by all these obligations that we put on ourselves. And it's an illusion that we create. It's the dream that we're building. And we need that. We need these illusions and we need these dreams to build and these lives to build to learn more about our human existence. And so what the subconscious and unconscious does is actually give you deeper insights into what it means to live that human existence. And so all I can do is help others build a bridge, to awaken them to the bridge they can build within themselves. And I feel that's been my purpose for 15 years, but I've been closeted about it. Because I suffered a lot from sleep paralysis. I don't know, maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but it's that halfway between being awake and being asleep. And so your body is completely cut off. It's asleep, it's paralyzed, and it needs to be in that state so that you can deeply rest. And so your cells can regenerate and you're not taking stimulus from the outside world, and your subconscious, unconscious mind can start to make links and cement memories, practice skills, form new ideas. So the body's asleep. But I used to be in that halfway where my mind would become awake, but my body was still paralyzed from sleep. And so it put me in this very, very vicious cycle of not sleeping well, because I would always be terrified to be in that state. And it does feel scary. It feels like you can't even move your toe. But you're awake and you can look around and
you're realizing that you can't even move your toe.
You cannot move your toe.
Yeah.
And you can't even move your fingers. But you can hear sometimes sounds and screams in your ears. That's what I've experienced. Maybe others in sleep paralysis feel it differently, but those who I've spoken to, they feel the same way. So it's that feeling of being trapped. It's very uncomfortable. And so that led to insomnia. And I was in this super vicious cycle of having a toxic relationship with sleep. And it didn't help that my family also had sleep disorders. Narcolepsy. My dad would fall asleep at his own lectures. My mom had insomnia because of trauma. So it just became very normal in the family not to have good sleep.
And it probably impacts everything that you're doing, right? Like if you had a shitty night of sleep, like how good can your day be?
Tell me. So for example, for you, what are some of the symptoms that you feel when you have sleep deprivation?
So I would say that I was always maybe gifted when it comes to sleep, because for the majority of my life, I just went to bed, fell asleep, and the next thing I remember is I wake up in the next morning. So I never had a lot of difficulties falling asleep or waking up in the night for 2 hours or whatever. And I would say my curiosity to dive deeper into this topic is coming from the sense that, okay, it's nice that it works for me, quote unquote, that I'm rested and I have energy the next morning when I get up, which of course is challenged these days with my little son, who sometimes wakes up in the night, sometimes I don't wake up every morning perfectly rested, but I would say it works for me. But my curiosity comes from, oh wow, if like a third of our lives, for some people more, for some people less, is spent in the state of, it's so different from the rest of the things that we do every day, because for most of the time we are not aware in the sense of I'm aware that I'm talking to you or drinking tea or whatever. It just feels like I'm waking up in the next morning. I'm like, what happened in the past 7.5 hours? I don't know. Like, my curiosity comes from the wanting to understand what is going on in this mystical state that I cannot grasp fully, and at the same time, what beyond it just works is possible there, because I have the feeling that there are people in the world who actually master whatever that means, sleep, and as a result, not just are ready for the day, but have this as one of their biggest enablers of all the other things that they are doing in their life. So I feel that there's a huge untapped potential for all of us, including me, even though it works for me. I would say this is my driver of wanting to experiment and wanting to explore the topic of sleep.
You're a perfect candidate. Perfect candidate for dream work. Because if you're already getting deep rest and you're waking up refreshed and you feel good, your mood is regulated, these are all beautiful symptoms of good rest. And we need that deep rest in order to regenerate our cells. Matthew Walker, who, by the way, You should read his book if you want to know why sleep matters.
You have a quote by him, right? I wrote it down. What was the quote?
The quote is...
I love that. What was
sleep
it?
is nature's best attempt at immortality.
At immortality. I wrote it down.
It's true. It's true because we regenerate so much when we're having deep rest. And so every night we go through, if you're sleeping about 8 hours, 5 cycles of sleep. And so you definitely have your light. Yeah, exactly. You have your light sleep, then you have your deep sleep, and then you have your rapid eye movement where you're vividly dreaming a lot more. You also dream in deep sleep. But these dreams are going to be a little bit different. It's going to be more about holding a memory in your subconscious, unconscious mind. Or it's about, deepening your identity within yourself. So many of these more deepening, cementing kind of purposes for dreams happens in your deep rest. And also your cellular work is just all about regenerating. But in rapid eye movement, that's when you're connecting dots, you're forming ideas, you're getting insights, all of these, you're playing out a whole day. So for example, when I texted you about coming here, I had a dream about being here for a full day and a full night and living through the complete cycle of it, which I know was my dream's way or my unconscious way of processing and simulating what this experience is going to be like. And so when we were cavemen and cavewomen, and still now, but less so because technology enables us to work a little bit differently. We're relying on different ways in order to inform us all the time. But if we just had nature and we just had ourselves, and this is already such an incredible piece of technology, the body is an incredible piece of technology that we're still trying to understand today. But we relied on our intuition and our dreams in order to inform us, okay, is there an incoming threat in the environment? Or is there a threat within the tribe? Is there somewhere else we can find resources, whether that's for food or water or building materials? So we relied on this part of ourselves, this processing, to survive.
Our hunter-gatherer ancestors probably didn't do a pro and con list of, should we go there to search for food today or there? They probably just knew it.
When you say that I'm gifted with good sleep, it literally is a gift. It is a gift, and treat it as such, because not everyone is gifted with that. Now we've unlearned how to sleep well, and we're just relearning how to sleep well again. And not only that, really savor it for the superpower that it is, because as you're looking at me, you're processing maybe about this much pieces of information, right? You can feel the wind, you can feel the light coming on you, the temperature, all of these different things. So you're processing all of that, and plus maybe this conversation as well, and some of your experiences that contribute to this particular experience in the present. When you're asleep, you cannot even fathom the amount of information you're processing. You become a supercomputer, gathering information that is locked in your DNA, gathering information that you've accumulated through your whole life, subconsciously, things you've overheard, or even like smells that you've picked up, so many different things. And it's to inform you on what your future can look like, or whether there is somebody in the community you need to help. There may be something in the environment you need to pay attention to. So you're not just dreaming for yourself.
Or a place you need to go to the next day.
You need to be like a prophecy. You need to be led somewhere. And you know by deep intuition that you need to go there. So it's, yes, we need some sleeps where we wake up and we don't remember anything. That's important, because in your deep sleep, you're clearing your cache. We take on a lot of information that we don't need. So we need to filter all of that stuff out and clear it out, compost it, put it somewhere back to the earth, back to our daily lives. We need to filter it out because we cannot hold all of that. That is not necessary. We need to clean it out. Nature's cycles are the same, right? There's always a deep cleansing that happens. We need to deep cleanse, to make space for new, to make space for what's important and what path we need to be led on. And then the REM is where that happens. So after your cleansing, your REM, where you dream, is where the magic happens and the creation happens and the adventures or the direction that we need to go. So I guide people on both these parts, fixing their, I wouldn't say fixing, optimizing. Everyone's different. There's no need to fix. It's just we're all changing all the time. So it's just optimizing for a deeper rest on a holistic level. Your lifestyle, what you eat, how you sleep, your environment, your daily activities.
Love for us to get into
Let's
all
do
the
it.
different like you probably know Brian Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not personally.
Yeah.
But
in on his social media, he always talks about that he was the first person to crack like the code for 100% perfect sleep for 8 months in a row or whatever. And I find it so fascinating to explore what are the different components that need to come together for our own individual ideal sleep. Like, what are the different ingredients to have this third of your life actually work in your favor and not against you, as it was the case for you before.
Yes.
But
Everyone is different, and
Yeah.
it's like there are basic guidelines, of course. Like light is a big one. Your exposure to light, So to really test what your actual circadian rhythm is, no alarm clocks. You fall asleep when you fall asleep. You wake up when you wake up. That
which is
means
already a big thing in current society. Like, yeah.
we are all pandering to a certain chronotype. So the most, do you know what a chronotype is? Do I have to explain it, or should I explain it?
What I would find interesting, because usually if you talk about chronotypes,
Yeah.
most people think about, there are like night owls that stay up quite late and then they sleep in, and then there are the larks that are going to bed early. But I found that super interesting. I screenshot that from your Instagram. Did you create
I
these?
took that from a mattress company.
Oh, really? I love it. So you're talking about 4 different types of sleepers. There's the dolphin, there's the wolf,
Yes.
the bear, and the lion.
Okay, let's go to the
dive
bear.
into that. Yes.
Let's go to the bear.
Yeah.
So
Who's the bear?
The bear is the 9 to 5 type.
Yeah.
The type that is able to go to work in the office, feel chirpy, maybe have a slump in the afternoon, but then back again in the evening for social. This is the bear. Most of the world is geared towards the bear because the bear is the majority chronotype.
55% of the population.
Yes, and so this framework has been set up by Dr. Bruce. So shout out to you, Dr. Bruce. And he created this chronotype framework in order to teach people that it's okay not to always fit into society.
Which,
And
according to this, half of the population
And
does
that
not.
we need to learn about our chronotype in order to optimize the way we distribute our energy throughout the day. And that's also affects how we eat. Because if we're getting more energy during the night, that we need to eat a little bit before the night, later in the night, and so forth. So the best way to look at this is actually, maybe we can use you as a case study. Which chronotype do you feel you are?
Could you give a brief walkthrough
Of course.
of all these 4?
Yes.
I think that would be helpful.
Oh, I love it.
Even for me.
Yes, okay. So, like I said, we have the bear,
We have the bear, yeah.
9 to 5 type.
Is it you? Not.
They are most of society, and they are able to be energetic in the morning, slump in the afternoon, and then come up again in the evening to socialize. This is the bear. And then we have the lion. Lions are early risers, and they probably don't want to socialize in the evening because their energy just is super fiery through most of the day. And then when the sun starts to set, it's over. They're already ready to wind down. You have the dolphin, who sleeps the least. The dolphin are more of those overthinking, airy types who have a lot of energy and can barely sleep. They tend to be a little bit more anxious, but they're also very creative. So they function in a totally different energetic way.
So what is their peak performance window? during the day?
It could be late at night or early in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. So they tend to stay up. And they stay up to the wee hours of the morning and maybe get their best ideas, you know, late at night or super early in the morning. Yeah. I find that dolphins, so far that as I know, they don't actually need that much sleep, and it's okay.
Even over a long period of time.
They might have crash periods where they'll need like a month off hiatus, but they tend to generate a lot of their own energy. So it's okay, you know, and not everyone needs to sleep the 7 to 8 hours. It's not necessary. We have deep.
well, right?
I saw that you like Leonardo. Maybe Leonardo da Vinci is something that's also, he's an interesting case because he used to do polyphasic sleep.
I have polyphasic on my list. Let's save that for later.
Yeah, I love it. I love that we can geek out on this topic.
I want to geek out.
Yeah, people say sleep is boring, but it's really
I
not.
find
It's
it
really so
fascinating.
colorful. Yeah,
I find it so fascinating.
it's very fascinating.
Yeah.
So that's a dolphin,
Yeah.
and then you have the wolf.
Yeah.
I'm the wolf.
Who's the wolf?
I'm a late riser. I like to late rise, and then I also like to sleep late because I get some of my best ideas late at night when it's quiet and there's no one. Unfortunately, this world is not really made for wolves. So it's been a lot of adjustment and compromise throughout my life. Yeah, and you know, I think partnerships is also something interesting to talk about because compatibility in sleep is a huge topic. You know, and one person always has to compromise. Yeah. So, I mean, we can talk about that. It's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah. Many rabbit holes waiting to be explored.
Yes.
Interesting. So you see yourself as the wolf, and the wolf is like 15% of the population, which usually gets their most ingenious work done late at night, when probably the lion is already in his evening routine. Got it.
So it's not really the perfect match in a relationship
Yeah.
unless both people are super okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that they can balance each other and it's fine. Maybe some couples even have separate rooms to just deal with the different sleep patterns.
Which is another stressor for a relationship. Like, of course, it's difficult. To bring all of that together. I think, like, I have the feeling that I'm interested in your take on that. In the topic of sleep, people usually tend to assume that what they are doing is the right thing, and they try to bring everybody else. Like, if I sense, hey, if I'm
talking about Huberman?
if I'm the lion and I'm like, hey, at 9:30 I'm already in the bed, and then I get up before sunrise, or the Robin Sharma 5 a.m. club thing, like. It's probably not your favorite topic. I personally love it, actually.
Yes.
But there's a certain sense of, I figured something out that works for me, and everybody that's not doing that, they're just wrong. They're just
alienated.
And I think this is a kind of attitude that is not helpful in other areas as well, but especially in the topic of sleep, when there's a relationship and one partner is like, hey, 9:30 until 5 in the morning, and tries to have their wolf partner do the same thing, and it just doesn't work for them. No. And it's probably not a good idea to make it work, but actually to have everybody establish their own
fully rhythm. That really is the key. Self-awareness is the key. Self-awareness and your own self-growth into sleep, it's super personal. The way you respond to light is personal. So there's no cookie cutter way. And whenever someone asks me, you know, what are the rules for sleep? Well, it's just understanding yourself, how you distribute your energy throughout the day, how you respond to light when you wake and when you sleep. What are the smells that you respond to that make you feel at home? I've asked someone, they said their smelly socks in the room helps them feel calm. So it's not necessarily, you know, a sleep blend that's with sandalwood and patchouli and all of this. Could be just smelly socks, you know.
Imagine an incense with the...
It's just like your diet, your food. How your gut responds to kimchi can be different for somebody else's gut, you know. Your whole microbiome is also such a, it's an accumulation of everywhere you've been. And so to say that a certain food works for you, it's not necessarily true just because it works for the 5 a.m. club, you know? Yeah.
The question that intrigues me for many, many, many years now is, I fully hear what you're saying, everybody is different, and at the same time, this question always comes into my head of, but we're still like one species, we're all Homo sapiens, and when I look into the animal kingdom, I see a cat, and there's probably, I would say, usually there aren't cats that stay up late and sleep in, and other cats sleep, like, they probably have almost the same sleep rhythm because they're a cat. And they probably eat almost the same thing because they are a cat. And there's not a cat that does vegan, and another cat is paleo, and another cat is meat eater, and another cat is just consuming sunlight and not eating at all, and whatever. And we human beings have created all these different... is it because we are so much more complex, or is there actually a right way to sleep or to eat or to whatever as a Homo sapiens? What are your thoughts on that? I find that super fascinating.
I find it really fascinating. It's a great question. I think in many ways we are the same. The way we start to, for example, okay, let's speak about it in a more scientific way. Our melatonin release, right, is more activated when we are experiencing less light, when the sun is going down. The fact that our biochemical state changes when we are asleep, that's all the same, right? So in many ways, yes, we are the same. And the way we are cut off from sensing the world, whether it's sound or visuals or taste or smells, that changes when we are asleep. So that's different. And it's our cultural upbringing. It's the way we respond to things in our lives, whether that's our rituals, whether that's our environments, that makes all these little shifts. If you were a child that grew up in a, let's say, Spanish or Mexican community, where eating late is okay and very accepted, you naturally sleep later. And it's fine because everyone around you is doing the same, and you all sync up in your rhythm, right? And so then you associate it with home, and once you associate that with home, then naturally you get deeper rest. So there are so many factors that go into it. If you're someone who is more isolated and you're not part of a community, and you've been sleeping the way that you always sleep, maybe you're like Leonardo da Vinci and you do polyphasic sleep, and that's the way you get deep rest, and that's the way you self-grow, and the way you get your insights and feel nourished, and that's your way. So I think as humans, we have and to say that we know all the different patterns in the animal kingdom, I think we still know a fraction, because we're still perceiving it from our human lens. Yeah. So
I think it's this question of nature versus nurture, of like, what is, that was a beautiful explanation, what we do over and over again and develop a certain sense of safety through that, because it was our survival strategy, it worked. This not only is true for sleep, but for everything, for every limiting belief, behavior pattern, whatever, it just kept us alive, and that's why we feel a certain sense of safety, and it's maybe the right thing for us right now, even though what I assume lies behind that, if we would let go of our identity as a wolf, as a whatever, probably we could find this safety in something else, in another rhythm.
yeah.
And yeah, I find that so fascinating that on the one hand, it's quite helpful to have these different containers to be like, oh, I'm okay as I am. Like, I don't need to be like everybody else. I'm different, and at the same time not identify with it, meaning this is how I will be 10 years, 20 years, 50 years in the future.
Exactly.
And always be experimenting, always be exploring. Oh wow, this served me up until now. What else might be possible? And have this curiosity of, wow, all my life I hated the 5 a.m. club because my parents always had this most annoying alarm clock that was going on at 6 in the morning. I needed to go to school, and that's why now I don't need to do it anymore. That's why I hate it. But maybe, yeah, I think there's a chance for us to reprogram ourselves and letting go of past through repetition or parts of ourselves that are so deeply ingrained through repetition, and open up ourselves to something new, but not from a sense of I need to fit in, I need to be like them, but more like I want to sink deeper into who I am and who I can be.
Beautiful. The words that come up are death and rebirth. Every night that we go to sleep and we regenerate new cells, in essence, some things are dying and some things are being rebirthed. You become a different person. Every time that you wake up, you're evolving. In 21 days, you have a whole new cellular input. So in essence, you really become a different person in 21 days, right? You drop your hair changes, your skin changes, how your microbiome functions change as well. So you are becoming a different person all the time. And I think that's the beauty. It's so wonderful that you're looking at it from a lens of sleep and trying it with different chronotypes. And we all need all these frameworks in order to guide us, whether that's human design, Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, you name it. I think coming from the corporate world, we had to try all these things to just better understand and sink deeper into who we are and how we relate to our environment and the community. And for me, this framework, this chronotype framework, and any kind of framework, to be honest, any personality framework, is a way for me to sink deeper into my subconscious and conscious mind. Subconscious, and unconscious mind. So look at it as a way of being able to experience the human existence beyond what we experience here in this waking world. I can tell you, I can be open about it because why not? I have jumped into different multiverses, different realms, different timelines. I've visited other people's dreams. I've been visited as well by others who need help. A lot of the time I'm saving other people as well in my sleep. So there's this very rich, colorful tapestry of experiences that informs me on this plane and on this waking world, which I am so grateful for, so deeply grateful for, because it empowers me and allows me to help others on a much deeper level than I could have ever imagined 15 years ago. So yes, of course, it helps me to grow as a person, but like with everything in life, what are you taking and learning from your experiences, and how are you applying it and serving it back and offering it back? I think that's what's really important, and that is so related to the death and rebirth that we experience every night. Every time we get to rebirth and you feel that sense of awakening, sense of rejuvenation, sense of being more embodied in who you are after such a beautiful night of rest and insights and adventure and imagination, how can you now take that and give it back? Like, for example, me sharing this with you is giving back, because I know the kind of depth of rest you're trying to infuse into Custodia here to help other people with being better custodians, because this vessel is an ancient piece of technology. I have goosebumps when I say that. This is an ancient piece of technology that we need to take care of. We need to be a custodian of this before we can be a custodian of anything else. Take care of yourself first, then the child or the mother.
I find it so how could we arrive at a point where we as a species figured out so many things, we like explored the like, but almost nobody knows how this vessel works.
This vessel is always changing. It's always changing. That's why it's so inevitable, the change that if you look at, like you said, what we used to be is, Neanderthals, Homo sapiens. There's another species that was discovered. I can't remember now. But since then, our brains have changed in size. Our skeletal structure has changed. The way we have hair on our body has changed. So how can we expect to always know what's going on? Maybe it's the beauty of it, right? Just as we don't really know where we go to for a third of our lives in our sleep and our dreams, the mystery is what's holding everything together, because the knowing and mystery have to come together and coexist. It's why we have adventures and we keep going back to asking questions and learning our human experience because of that mystery, the great mystery. That's why I think death is also such an interesting topic, because I'm sure you heard about before in your life, what if I die in my sleep? Right? There's still this like unconscious fear of like the not knowing. Whereas we should look at it as a transition period. And the feeling like, for example, when you step into a vehicle and you're going to go from point A to point B, or you're going to go meet someone and you don't know exactly what they're like, or you take on a project such as this and you don't know where it might go. That's stepping into the great mystery. That's what we're doing when we sleep. And the more we can practice transitioning and embracing that transition into sleep, the more we can embrace the transition into the great mysteries of life, including death.
Surrender.
Surrender.
Yep.
The Tibetan monks, they practice dream yoga.
What's that?
Dream yoga is a way for monks to reach enlightenment and awaken consciousness in sleep, as a way to transition also into death and find enlightenment through that process. So they have 3 levels of dreaming. The first level is you sleep, black, you wake up.
That's me.
You skip. It's like skipping a step almost,
Yeah.
Then after that you have samsara dreams, which means you dream of your environment, the people in your lives, animals, everything that makes up this reality, right?
Oftentimes I would say most of the mornings when I wake up, I don't recall my dreams, but sometimes I do. And then it's always something that was present the day before, the week before, whatever. And this gets mixed and matched in like weird, I don't know, my friend that I met yesterday suddenly plays in a scene with my math teacher from 5th grade, and it's totally unrelated, but in a dream it flows together. It's the same, but I would say like most of the mornings I don't recall what was there, which probably doesn't mean that I didn't dream, right?
Do you feel like you want to do that more often?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm super fascinated.
And do you feel like, damn it, I don't remember my dream?
No, it's more like there's a certain playfulness of like, hey, it would be interesting. What I shared in the beginning as my attention, it would be interesting to explore more what is going on there.
Yeah.
So first things first, create like a little 15-minute wind down for your body, so it knows, okay, I'm getting ready for sleep, whatever that might be for you to relax. And then after that, setting an intention of, okay, I want to recall my dreams. It's more like it needs to be specific. So I want to, for example, spend time with a certain someone tonight, or I want to ask a question like, where is this project going? Or where do I need to be in order to feel successful with myself? All these different questions. Be specific. More specific, the better.
Okay.
About a decision that you have to make. I always feel like that's the best gateway into intentions for sleep.
Interesting.
And then you set it. Even better if you can practice it in the day, like, hey, as you're speaking to someone, or like just walking around here in this beautiful place, Just asking yourself that question, that, okay, I want to dream about a certain decision that I have to make. Taking it into your sleep, and then upon awakening, you have 10 minutes, that little window in your alpha wave state, to remember.
To write down probably, right?
What is it that you feel? What are the symbols that you remember? Don't be so hard on yourself, just let it flow. Try to do it on paper and not on the screen, because the screen gets really distracting. And try to remember any locations, and just know that all of these are actually symbolic. So yes, if you have a random stranger in the dream, or you have a random location, it's not about so much that
About the thing,
place.
right? Yeah.
It's what it means to you. That's important. And that's your start of interpretation of what the dream is about. Yes, because imagine the dreaming or the dream world as an emotional library. It's a huge database of emotion and experiences. And so what you're doing is you're revisiting these files and you're making connections. And that's how you gain your insights. It's fascinating.
Which is probably, because in the beginning we talked about what is like the purpose of sleep. Of course, it's to regenerate and it's to rest and so on. But probably making these connections, forming these links, is a major part of the purpose of sleep, right? In order to, you talked about death and rebirth. The next day, waking up as a tiny bit better, more aware, more connected version of the self that went to bed 8 hours before. And that's probably how we grow, right?
Exactly. You got it. You become a more informed person, more nourished, more with a larger capacity for imagination. I think that's also a really, really big one, because our perception is so limited as in this reality. Constructs that bind us here, whether that's everything from government to gravity, they bind us. They bind us, exactly. So we have a chance to undo this programming and play in a less constructed space, a more, I would say, fragmented is not the right word. It's more, imagine a lotus that is always opening different fractals. That's what dreaming feels like. Once you get into it and you start to connect with that side of yourself, there's the exploration into who you are and into the interconnectedness of all things. It's just within reach every night. People go to plant ceremonies and, they go to spiritual experiences, and I'm all for that. Everyone is on their own journey. They go to like deep retreats, and I think that's all important when it comes to exploring oneself. But you also get a chance to do that every night.
Without any substance.
Nothing.
Just with yourself.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just closing your eyes and naturally activating your pineal gland while you sleep. But it's about recall. If you don't remember, then it's like it didn't happen. It will be absorbed into your subconscious, unconscious mind, but there's no way to integrate it fully because you don't remember what happened.
So you would say this would be my homework, to each morning write down whatever I recall, and if it's just a vague, I don't know, shape, story,
like a lion
face,
coming out
whatever.
of a lollipop. Okay, if it
This
doesn't
is
make sense, it doesn't make sense. You let it go.
Probably like a muscle. Next week, like next month, I will get better at recalling.
Because you may be experiencing clearing as well, and in the clearing, then you're seeing all of these different dots connect, and maybe they don't. You don't feel that they make any connection with what you're going through right now. Then just let it go. But it might be later on in life. You're like, that's funny that I'm experiencing fragments of this dream right now. So in fact, you had already prophesized it, and now you know that wherever you're meant to be at, because you already prophesized it.
Got it.
Yeah. Does it sound super witchy, by the way? I hope not.
I absolutely love it. That's one of the, as I said in the beginning, this is one of the things that fascinates me within the topic of sleep to uncover these realms that you are unaware of, like what else is possible there. And I would love to come back to and dive deeper into that, and before circle back to the, I would say, the basics that are I don't know if it makes sense to use the word should, but that could be in place if you want to enhance your quality of sleep. Some of the things we already mentioned, we talked about the chronotype. Would you say that it makes sense to have a constant bedtime, or is that an old story that we tell ourselves, or would your general recommendation be like figure out what works well for you and then go to bed exactly this time? How's that for you? How do you practice that?
So for me,
Yeah.
going to bed around the same time and waking up the same time generally helps, because your body likes a little bit of routine and it likes a little bit of predictability. So for example, if you're eating very randomly every day, then your body's going to feel a little bit off, because it wants to have a little bit of that predictability for everything else to function. It's like if you open your business at different times every day, all your workers are going to be confused. Like your staff are going to be confused, your team are going to be like,
And
oh,
probably
what's going on?
you yourself as well, like, oh, okay, I'm not,
Yeah, so a little bit of predictability is always good. That doesn't mean to say that you have to do that every day. You can always change it up, try a different routine, and see where that goes as well. Because we are creatures that, of course, like comfort, but we also like change. So what I mentioned that are the foundations.
One question on that, and then
Okay,
let's go
sorry.
to the next
Yes.
foundation. You spoke about the 90-minute cycle. You oftentimes hear people saying sleep a multiple of 90 minutes, like 7.5 hours or 6 hours, or if you cannot get a lot of sleep, it's 4.5. If you need a lot of sleep 9 hours.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that or not?
Not necessarily. Some people need 6, it's fine.
No, but 6
I
would
mean,
be
now working with clients and like having done quite a number of dream journeys and workshops, it's clear to me there's no exact cookie cutter. But generally, 7 hours on average is what people tend to lean into to feel rested. If you're doing 8 hours, then you have 5 cycles of sleep a night, right? That's 5 90-minute cycles. So in order to fully like get into the regenerative part of sleep, I would say 6 to 7 hours is good. Yeah. So foundationally, it's about having the awareness of your energy distribution and energy type. You don't have to follow the chronotype framework, but just understanding when am I most productive, when am I most feeling fresh, and when do I slump. All of these are important. And just taking note throughout the week.
probably like a journal, right?
Yeah, I think you start to understand, like, okay, this is my pattern. This is when I feel good, right? And having that awareness, you can always tap in to that awareness. Light, understanding how you're receiving light. So, do you need blackout curtains or an eye mask to sleep well? Are you sensitive towards light? Are you sensitive towards sound? Light and sound is it can be very disruptive or it can be very beneficial.
For me personally, I feel that like sleeping here in the forest, which is a lot noisier in the night than as it is right now, it supports my sleep a lot. Because I have the feeling that, or I'm telling myself the story that we as a species didn't grow up or didn't evolve in a noise-free setting. Like noise-free was probably, I don't know, death. I don't know.
Outer space.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of calming and soothing energy when I hear the river at night and hear the insects and like the wind in the leaves, and yeah.
Your body's frequency is harmonizing with the frequency of the environment. So whatever the water's frequency is, or the crickets, cicadas, they harmonize with you. And that's why it works for your rest. Yeah, it works for many, to be honest. Because like you said, when we were born into this world as a species, we were surrounded by everything that is natural. And yeah, that's completely fine. I think absolute silence for some is crucial because of how sensitive they are. And that's also fine, that they have that sensitivity and are easily disrupted by ambient noise.
Probably because they've been overstimulated in the past. So having this absolute silence makes sense to recover from the, I don't know, the highway underneath your balcony or whatever.
Sensory deprivation can be beneficial for those who've gone through a lot of trauma of some sort, you know, and they just cannot receive it. And this ambient sound that we're feeling now is a gift also, you know, and like if your body is ready to harmonize and receive it, then it's also another kind of rest that is like so beautiful. You know, I personally need to come to the mountains in order to feel, just on my way here, I'm already recharging my batteries. Yeah, so there's light, there's sound, and then there's diet.
Yeah.
Diet,
Let's dive into that.
diet is
Super fascinating.
so important.
Yeah.
What you eat before you sleep can like overstimulate your digestive system, and then you spend more energy digesting as opposed to regenerating your cells. So then you wake up tired. You know, if you are eating super spicy, super fatty,
That's a lot.
or
If
meat.
yeah.
Meat takes 6 hours to digest. I'm guilty of eating meat sometimes for dinner, or, you know, having a little glass of something. But I know that it affects my sleep. And so I prepare myself mentally for that. You know, I work harder at my wind down routine, or I sleep a little bit later so I have more digestive time. So there's a lot that I'm always aware of when it comes to diet. Introducing foods into your diet that are more, that facilitate rest is also important.
What would that be?
GABA-inducing foods. So GABA is what you produce when your body needs to get less excited about things. Okay, that's the simplest way I could put it. So kimchi, tempeh, these are all GABA-inducing foods. Fermented foods in general are great for rest. They don't work well for everyone's digestive system, although generally fermented foods are supposed to help your microbiome. But they're good for rest.
This is probably something that you would recommend for
I have a
for
whole
dinner.
list of restful foods. I should share it. I'm
Maybe
happy.
we can link it. Is it?
I will-
Have you already published that or?
I can put it up on Instagram. I will do it.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, but restful foods are super important to include even throughout the day. You know, if you want to start at lunchtime already, to include foods that help boost your serotonin or help to, you know, give you like tryptophan, for example, then that already helps you to have more restful diet and help your cells to like ease into the night later on. Yeah.
For me personally, like I would say the timing, the quantity, and the kind of food I eat in relationship to the quality of rest I get, I'm experimenting for the past 15 years, I would say. And what I've, for me personally, found out that over the years, I slowly moved the last moment of me eating during the day earlier and earlier and earlier and earlier. There was a long, I think the majority of my life, I had dinner at 8 or 9 p.m. And I had of course I was busy the whole day, I was working and so on, and in the evening it just feels nice to have everything done, kid is sleeping, work is done, everything good, and then you have a really nice dinner, and then you eat, and then you finish by 9:30, and half an hour later you brush your teeth and you go to bed, and you don't feel really recharged the next morning because most of the time is spent digesting. So this is where I'm coming from, and then slowly I moved dinner time earlier and earlier and earlier, and where I'm now at, and I have the feeling that it is such a game changer that I usually stop eating by around 4 p.m. And it really, like, I cannot overstate that. It changed everything because I have the feeling really, and since I'm eating quite lightly. I'm eating vegan for the past 15 years, not a lot of processed food and so on. I really have the feeling by the time I go to bed, I'm finished digesting. I don't go to bed with a full stomach. It's I would say like directly before, I could get a little bit hungry again, but if it's still before you go to bed and the next morning you wake up, you're super hungry. I have my early breakfast. This kind of intermittent fasting, like starting to eat early and starting and finishing eating like early, works for me better than what I did in the past of like skipping breakfast, having lunch at 12 or 1 or whatever, and then have a late dinner, because I have the feeling I go to bed and the digestion is almost done and I really get the full, even if I just sleep 6 hours, I feel a lot more rested than in the past when I had slept for 8 or 9 hours. Yeah, this is my personal game changer.
Yeah, it is. And like eating earlier and leaving at least 4 hours is super good for you. And it's super good for your sleep. It's no point using all that energy to digest, as I said. But how you can even deepen your rest is to introduce foods that will, be restful for you. And I think that whole setup of eating a little bit earlier and then being hungry in the morning, of course, that doesn't work for everyone, but I am the same. I much prefer that than eating late. You know, you have the European summers where the sun is going down a little later, so people want to enjoy the sun a little bit more. They have like a little aperitif or whatever, and then they eat so late.
That's why I love being here in Bali. Because like for me, I only eat when it's daylight. Like I rarely eat when it's dark, because I have the feeling, I don't know, sitting here, it's dark, it feels like night. I don't want to eat anymore.
Yeah, you lose the feeling.
Yeah, but of course, if I'm I'm coming from Berlin in summer, it's late. It's like sometimes 9:30, 10 p.m. still. You like to sit outside,
enjoy,
be with friends and so on. It's different. Yeah, I think for me, being in the tropics definitely serves me with my rhythm.
Yeah, and it could be that, you know, the change of rhythms also keeps you adaptable. That's also how I like to look at it. When you adapt your my legs. When you adapt your digestion to different cultures and different rhythms, then maybe as humans we become more adaptable. Yeah, we grow. Yeah. We grow and we maybe find our deeper rest through all these different changes as well. That's what I found. Yeah. But I think the other interesting thing about the foundation of sleep is who you surround yourself with, your community. Yeah. Yeah.
And the things. Like I see the environment not just as the people that surround me, but like everything. What bed sheet do I have? Like, what is the mattress? Like, in building this place here, Custodia, because we needed to make so many decisions, we needed to put in a lot of time and energy to learn about all these things and how they affect us. And I got a lot more sensitive on the impact of my surrounding. Of course, everybody talks about you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with and so on, this Jim Rohn quote, but I feel an equal truth in just the items that surround you, especially like in the bedroom, but in general.
I have a question about the bed.
Please.
The bedroom.
Please.
Or
have you seen it already?
The bed tent. I saw it from the outside. I was like peeking a little bit. What were some of the thoughts that went into creating like a little sanctuary in here?
So I would say the goals were, first of all, everything that we're talking about today, like how can we set up a space that aids the quality of rest as much as possible. At the same time, the goal was to design the space in a way that puts minimal burden on the biosphere, that is in as much alignment as possible with the thriving of the earth. The next goal was to create a space that was as children friendly as possible, because like you just mentioned your legs. This is one of the reasons why we're sitting on the floor, because there are many reasons, but one of the reasons is my son is 3 years old. If we would be sitting on a high table, high chair, like he could not participate. Either he sits with us on the table, on the chair, which gets boring after 5 minutes, and then he wants to run around and do all these things, and then he cannot participate in the whole thing that's going on because we are elevated and he's down. And I think in the bedroom the same is true. That's why we have floor mattresses, because no child can roll out from the bed and hurt themselves because it's already on the floor. And even a 1-year-old toddler by themselves can enter the bed and leave the bed again. So yeah, I would say regeneration, earth alignment, child-friendly, and beauty. We talked about beauty before. Like I like spaces that are just nice to look at, where you just feel like all the materials, all the colors, they just create a symphony that just, it's inviting.
Yeah, it's harmonious.
Yeah. So I would say these were probably others as well, but these are the first that come to mind, where I would say the intentions or the outcomes we try to achieve, and the result with our limited experience and limited budget and like all the constraints that were there, resulted in the current setup that we currently have with the floor mattress that we got custom made from Hevea. Do you know Hevea?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. There was a beautiful and long and intense process with Stefan, the owner from Hevea, because we really tried to figure out like what is the ideal mattress for our setting here, and it turned out that it was not one that they already had in their catalog, but we custom made the Custodian mattress, which is just 7 centimeters thin. It's 4.5 centimeters of recycled latex and 2.5 centimeters of regular latex, which means it's as earth friendly as possible, putting minimal burden on the biosphere, and still feels comfortable without I personally don't like these super thick mattresses that feel, when you lay down and you feel like it, in a certain sense, it feels super heavenly and cozy and comfortable, and still I feel that it doesn't activate my body, and sometimes I feel super sluggish in the morning. And sleeping on the floor, having a little harder mattress that is still not uncomfortable, actually works really well, I would say. Then we got the bed sheet, like everything is from Hevea. The linen is so beautiful, it's so cozy, it's so nice on the skin. Because of the climate, we don't need AC here. It's a little chilly, and yeah, it's the thing that I like about Europe. You usually in the tropics, you're sweating all day and you're sweating in the night, and that's why you need to have an AC. And the AC air is, I hate it.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I see it in my son as well. He doesn't sleep well when the AC is on. And yeah, I would say like all these different components we try to weave together. And for me personally, there's no place in the world that I prefer to sleep than here. It's so nice. I just love it. And still, I feel like we are just starting to explore how we can bring that, like all the theory into the actual world, into the actual setting that we are at. Of course, if we would be in, I don't know, in Sweden, we would this setup would be completely different. And I think it's about optimizing for the environment you're in, while trying not to sacrifice your values and your goals that you're trying to achieve, and still making it work and being practical. Yeah, but yeah, you mentioned the term sanctuary. That was definitely the intention. How could the little 9 square meter sanctuary that you're sleeping
We don't
at,
need a lot.
Yeah.
We don't need a lot to feel at home and feel safe, you know. And I love that the mattress is so close to the ground, because in many cultures, sleeping close to the ground is much better for your sleep, and your back, because you actually train your back to sort of like be more in alignment, as opposed to a mattress that's overly comfortable and letting your spine sink and bend in different ways.
That's a big thing. You mentioned Japan. That's a big thing in Japan. I took a
So
lot of
big.
inspiration.
So big.
And usually they work with cotton, and cotton would not be the right material in our setting here because, of mold and all of that. And I'm very happy with the latex and then the bamboo cover with the combination. Many different inspirations that are invited to flow together.
And it's also the colors and the harmony of the colors and the textures and the materials used inside of a space. Very important also for sleep, because everything carries frequency. You know, if you're surrounded by plastic, are you really going to be sleeping well? I don't think so, you know. Or if it's completely cement, then it's no wonder you don't feel completely rejuvenated, as opposed to a place like this, where you're surrounded by nature. Everything is bamboo or wood or recycled latex, you know, and you're sleeping close to the ground.
Or just opens. There are some nights when it's not very, very cold, where I just open the mosquito net and really sleep without a roof.
Yeah.
And I love that so much.
Super little separation between you and nature. Yeah. I love that. And also, I think for me, I would love to hold a retreat here, I think, someday, you know, and bring people to come and just experience this. Even though I haven't slept in it yet, I'm going to. I'm 100,000% coming to sleep here. It already feels aligned. And I think if we overbloat the things that we need to feel at home. On the ride here, I was thinking to myself, I already feel like I'm coming home when I head towards Batukaru, when I head towards Jatului. You know, there's this, and that comes from a deep sense of having cultivated what home means within. That's very important. What is your anchor in this chaos of life, so that no matter where you go or where you travel to or the amount of stress that you feel throughout the day, you have that inner anchor within to make you feel at home. So I practice this thing. I realized on the way here, I practice this thing where wherever I am in the world and wherever I'm staying, I always say, if we need to go back to that place that I'm staying at, I always say, oh, I'm going home. You know, if it's an Airbnb, hotel or a friend's place, I say, okay, can we go? It's time to go home now. And just that simple phrasing cues my body and my nervous system to feel rested. And that's a little discovery that I've made today, that I'm imparting today as well here, because this immediately feels like a home.
And still, there are probably spaces that feel more home than others for you, right?
Of course. It's wherever I'm at in here. It's wherever we're all at, really. It's the stories that we tell ourselves. So really, rest is about deep self-awareness and undoing what we know to be productive in order to test and change who we are and how we understand the world and the connectedness of all things. And that's why I think rest is really radical for many of us. It comes with so much guilt and shame and I don't get my badge of honor of being productive anymore if I'm resting, you know? But that's all about to change.
My son is a huge inspiration for me because he, with his 3 years, almost equally 50-50 each day, rest and active. He sleeps between 11 and 12 hours a day, which doesn't mean that we as adults should need 11 or 12 hours, but he really, it's so fascinating to observe. When he sleeps, he's full asleep. Sometimes he falls asleep within a minute. He's talking and jumping around, whatever. The next minute he's sleeping. And then when he wakes up, the second he wakes up, he's full on. Let's have breakfast. Let's do this. This morning it was so fascinating. I was up before him, and then I observed him, and he got up. Really, in 1 minute he was still sleeping. Then he got up and he said, because yesterday we've been to Nuanu and we wanted to see the alpacas, but the alpacas were already sleeping because it was already too late. And this morning he got up. He was sleeping. He got up and said, let's have breakfast now, and then we go to the alpacas. this is the first thing that he said within the first 10 seconds. He was fully there. It was like, oh, I don't want to get up, and the alarm, and like how most people woke up, but he's there.
Yes.
And in the 50% of the time, in the 50% of the hours of the day where he's awake, he's super active, and 50% he's super resting. And that's a beautiful inspiration for me to be more intentional with, is now the time to be active, then be fully active and utilize all my potential and go all in, or is now the time to rest and then be all in on rest and not be like, there's a certain to do and I need to do this and worry about that and need to tell my friend what about tomorrow and when we will meet, and like all these stuff that we're doing when we just need to rest.
To craft intentional rest time. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be napping. You know, you can use other ways to have creative rest. Creative rest could just be you drawing an image or painting. You know, it could be just you observing a certain species of bamboo. But it's presence, right? It's being very present and being very intentional with how you're calming your nervous system. But it can be creative. There's still output from that. I think that's what's the key.
Let's come back to the basics.
Okay.
We talked about environment. Let's talk about light.
Yeah.
You mentioned that already briefly. There's a lot of talk about no blue light before going to bed and no screens and so on. And then it's interesting because yesterday in the evening I did the preparation for our conversation today, and I was thinking about, it's already 10 p.m. It's already quite late. I want to go to bed. Let's finish. And I was doing that on my pitch black room, and I was doing that on my laptop, which was obviously very bright. Of course, I had the night shift mode on, and you can adjust the intensity of the, like how red the screen gets, and I always have it on like max, which usually for most people would look super weird. And still I had the feeling of, wow, it's quite bright. It's quite intense. Like, and then there are other people who are wearing these crazy red light glasses in the evening when they're working on devices and so on. What is your take on that?
I think you know within yourself that these are all just like almost like bandages putting on a wound. That's what's happening. When you use a Panadol to fix a pain. So what the root is, as I see it, is that there's still this need to be productive at that time of the day. And no matter what kind of uses you do or bandages you put on this wound, no matter what bandages you put on this wound, is the best thing I'll say. It doesn't really fix the root of the problem. Where it's not natural for us to do that. Period. So it's more about how you can rationalize within yourself what is okay. That's what's happening. Yeah. Ideally, you want to do that before your dinner or so. Or
if my dinner is at 3:30 p.m., it's
yeah, exactly. Or minimize your usage.
Yeah. Do you have a strict no devices in the evening policy, or how do you do that for yourself?
Of course not. I don't have a strict policy. I'm human, just like everyone else living in this 21st century, going on 22nd century, in a world where AI and all these different exciting tech is coming out, including dream tech. So of course, a little bit of like cheeky social or cheeky planning happens at night, and I'm not against it, but I'm aware of it, and I try to minimize it. You know, it's hard for me because I'm a wolf type. So a lot of my ideas come at night. Having less tech, tangible piece of equipment like pen and paper, it really, really helps. I know it sounds super basic, but these basics keep us grounded and keep.
Candle, maybe.
I have my candle. I have my scents going on. I have dim lighting in the room. It's important for me to also like make sure my body, like I hold a lot of tension in my body, and so I always make sure to like hold and rub myself and press whatever I need to press to like release tension or shake it off. Music is also a way I engage my senses. I have different playlists for different vibes on how I want to like cue my body to slow down. So as long as you have this way of looking at your body that is like going at 100 kilometers per hour, especially because of here, how are you slowing down the car or your body or your engine so that you can facilitate deeper rest? So it's more about that. If you can't super control your need for technology. Yeah. But I have days where I detox completely. I don't use any technology at night. And in fact, I just more focus on like I love herbalism. So I study a lot into how different herbs facilitate rest and different combinations. And I'm experimenting with this all the time. So that's another thing I do that gets me excited to go to sleep and be off my gadgets.
What is your take on all these wearables that track all parts of the, like, from the cycles within your sleep to the number of minutes, and like there's quite a huge hype out there on trying to quantify every ounce of existence. Do you use that? Do you think that could be helpful for certain kind of sleep disorder? Like, what's your take on that? Be it the Aura Ring or the Whoop. Yeah, the Whoop or whatever.
Depends where you're at. It really depends. If your sleep is so disordered that you need accountability, it's good to have it for a while. If you're suffering from certain health conditions wherein it disturbs your sleep, I've met those who are recovering from cancer, or those who, like, for example, have been going through years of insomnia. Having some kind of accountability does help. It does.
And see in the morning, like, this is your result. Yeah.
It's also your personality type.
Yeah.
I'm a personality type that if I'm not getting an A star in something,
you beat yourself up.
You know, I was at my gym and they do like a health assessment.
Yeah.
And under sleep, I got 91%.
Oh, shit.
And I got annoyed.
The sleep expert.
I got annoyed that I got 91%, and the health assessment expert said to me, or he's a holistic nutritionist, and he said, "Look, you got the best score in the club.
Yeah.
Why are you mad?"
Yeah, like, because there's 9%.
It's not 100. So I'm not really the type to use too much technology. I like to try it, and I entertain myself, and I'm curious, and I want to see if it works. And I like to look at stats because it helps to inform me better on others and who needs to be served. And I think that's very important.
But it can definitely become another avenue of the always optimizing higher, faster, better, stronger rat race.
I like that Daft Punk song. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I see both sides of the coin. You know, I'm a bit Switzerland about it. I'm too much of a I need to get 100% type in sleep, for sleep especially. So it doesn't always serve me, but I do like to go in and check my my qualitative assessments. Yeah.
Got it. Anything else in terms of the basics that we missed so far, that you would say, like, these are the different areas everybody should be thinking of?
Those are the pillars. Those are the pillars, for sure, for foundation. And I think keeping an open mind and keeping curious is really another one when it comes to sleep. Some might tell you, oh, sleep is for the weak, sleep is boring.
I can sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, I sleep when I'm dead. I don't entertain that crowd. They're not ready. They're not ready for the rich, colorful tapestry that is sleep, and for the adventures that you can have in that realm. You spend a third of your life doing it. You spend so much time eating food and getting hyped about food and excited about where to go and traveling for food and all that. One day we're going to have that same attention for sleep. I know it.
I like that. Yeah.
That's what I hope.
I think it's definitely the next frontier that gets like accessed by a broader group of people, I would say. Like, I think maybe movement, like fitness and yoga and so on, was the first big thing, and then after that came the nutrition and the vegan and the paleo and whatever. And I think we're slowly questioning more and more parts of our lives. And I'm hoping that sleep will be the next one.
Tell you fun trivia. I've been experimenting with dream syncing, and I can safely say now that I have dream synced with my partner.
Okay.
Not only
you're dreaming the same story.
Yes, we dreamt of the same person in the same setting in the same night.
Wild.
So that's been quite an achievement. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I know deep down that we're all going to be able to do that. So can you imagine the empathy and the interconnectedness and the understanding of where we want to go as a human society, where that can go when we're connected in a realm that lives outside of all these constructs and narratives that we tell ourselves. Just imagine.
I love your slogan on the website. What was that?
Regenerative.
Sleep to regenerate, dream to awake.
Yeah.
I like that because I think it brings beautifully the two dimensions that we are exploring today together. First of all, seeing sleep as a technology to rest and to bring yourself into the capacity to actually work as a human being, and at the same time, not only it works, all good, there are no problems, there are no diseases, no disorders, no whatever, but actually use it as a tool to ascend. And I think this is what you are super curious about and exploring each and every day. Like, what else is possible?
I learned that from nature. She, or you can say it, or source, takes time to sleep, takes time to grow a seed from soil into a tree that flowers and branches and continues to hold a whole ecosystem. That's just one example. But it's not like they're not hustling. Nature is very productive. Yeah. Nature is constantly producing, constantly providing. But without
in an effortless way.
And so effortlessly, but also effortlessly resting and regenerating. So just learning from her patterns and her cycles on how to be, instead of being this human-centric way of being. She's speaking. Yeah. So nature is the greatest teacher, and we all have to remember that. And in order to really regenerate who we are from within, we have to learn from her. And so in order to learn from her, keep learning from her, we need to protect her.
Yeah. And if there is any most fundamental truth in nature, it's what you already described. There's life and there's death. And especially in the whole self-optimization, biohacking, sleep improvement, and so on niche, speaking of Brian Johnson, there's a trend of like, maybe death is something that doesn't need to be part of reality. How can we be so healthy? How can we live so aligned that we'll escape that? And then even like, there's another group of people that I'm following on the periphery that are even like, okay, maybe we don't even need to sleep. Maybe we can reduce our sleep as low as possible, or maybe even not at all, and still function. Like they're trying to escape this whole death and rebirth cycle. Like, do you think we as a species are still so much governed by the laws of nature, or is there the potential to achieve something that was not there before, that escapes these laws of nature of like, there's winter and then there's summer and then there's winter again? Could there be like always summer? Could there be like always life, always active? Like, how do you
mean
see
a
that?
no sleep life?
Yeah.
I am very happy for them to experiment and try that and be a disruptor. Go on, like experiment with how long a human can live, or whether a human can just live on breath itself. We have breatharians, for example. You know?
That's the same community. They're saying like, I don't need food, and if I don't eat and I don't need to digest, then I don't need sleep. And they can just be all day.
Whatever gives them life is what I say. If that lifestyle gives them a reason to live and be, then I would not devoid that person of that lifestyle. Who am I to judge what is right for them? You know, we're all here as different expressions of what a human can be and learning from each other. So by them doing that, we are learning from them, right? And I know personally I need a lot of sleep. I'm like, you know, I need that. And for me to...
And you probably enjoy that, right?
I enjoy it. It's for me a reason to live.
Yeah.
It's also to sleep. Like,
I think if you see sleep as this enemy that steals you 7.5 hours of productivity every day, it makes sense to try to reduce it.
Yeah, it can be a breatharian and not live off
Yeah.
anything. Go on. And yes, but
probably the way you see sleep is not less exciting than being awake, right? Because
because I have a really rich sleep life.
Yeah.
You know?
I love
Yeah, I have a really rich sleep life. I get to role play. I get to go on adventures.
That should be the cover of your book.
Yeah, and I'm learning so many things all the time. It's enriching my experience of life. So if for that person it enriches them to live this reality and prolong their waking time, or keep it endless, if you will, then that's them, and that's maybe their genetic makeup to go on this path. And maybe they're meant to teach people their way of living.
I think the trickiness is that there are, I don't know of any one documented case that actually is not, this works for me because I'm doing it now or since 3 months or whatever, but actually like, I don't know, 10 years, like really long, because I think the human body is under certain conditions capable of like insane things. I imagine if I would live in a war zone, I could probably go for many weeks without sleep because if the moment I fall asleep, I might get killed. Like I'm capable of that, which doesn't mean that it's something that I would try to achieve without these conditions that force me to do that. Or I don't know, I'm in a life and death situation because I need to get something done in my business and there's like a lot of stress and whatever, and I need to work for 20 hours a day. I could do that over a quite prolonged amount of time, but probably not over years. And the question is like, what is a schedule or rhythm that would be sustainable on a like lifespan or decade long view compared to what can I make happen in the here and now. Of course I can easily fast for the next week if I need to, or next 2 weeks or whatever, but I don't know if that works for the next 5 years. I think that's totally something different.
Yeah, you made me think of this man. I think he's in Vietnam, and he hasn't slept for many years. He's a chronic insomniac that functions perfectly well. You know, he was visited by a very famous travel blogger, and
What's his name?
I think it's Drew Binsky. And he visited this Vietnamese man, spent time with him, just to see how he lives his day as someone who doesn't sleep at all. He's fully functioning.
Wow.
But not all of us are like that, right? And not all of us are like a ballerina who has morphed their body in a certain way so that they can dance in a certain way. Or, for example, Hindu practitioners who walk on fire and pierce their body for ceremonies. So as humans, we're capable of really pushing ourselves to the edge of what we know. Like David Blaine as a magician, kissing cobras and like setting himself on fire and holding his breath underwater in a chain bubble, and you know, all of these things. Why do we do it? And I think it's because of that mystery. That
What if? Yeah.
the what if. It's the mystery of not knowing. It's that not knowing of what death is or where we go in our sleep. I see sleep the same way. I'm going into the great mystery. We'll come back to that same topic.
Let's dive in now. What what would be an introduction you would give to somebody who's like, oh wow, the rest and regenerate my body and be functioning in the world and so on, part of sleep feels all right, feels present. I want to explore more. I want to learn more. What else is there? What is the deeper mystery behind all the ticking the boxes, all the basics that we explore today? What is the deeper realm that lies behind all of that?
Yeah.
How would you describe that?
Okay. I would describe it as a hive consciousness. Or like a hive unconsciousness, where we're all plugged into this database, kind of like the Matrix, and we're all getting information from there. So things like the atomic structure, the idea for the double DNA, the helix, and also the sewing machine, the periodic table, all of these ideas were conceived in sleep. Which means that we're all able to log on to this database of knowledge, of wisdom, and bring it into our waking lives. We all have that capability. So beyond just fixing our rest and regenerating our rest and on a biological level, optimizing ourselves, it's the wealth of information that we have access to that most of us choose not to access.
Because probably they don't know that it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And all it takes is, of course, discipline, intention, openness, placing value on this space that we call the dreaming or the dream world or dreamscape, whatever you want to call it that makes you feel comfortable, or going home. Once we make a connection with that space, we open up so much of our own blossoming in terms of creativity, emotional well-being, and understanding our programming and deprogramming from that. We learn to show up better for nature, for our community, and being of service, you know? And the other thing I would say is that who knows if you can prophesize a world that is more connected than it is today, more giving and more kind and more flourishing than it is today. I always think that there really aren't, of course there are people who are using very evil methods to get what they want. But what if they understand the repercussions on such a deep level of what they're doing and how they can be in the version of themselves that they want to be, you know? Kind of like Trump after ayahuasca, that kind of vibe. So, you know, I mentioned plant medicine also because there's research done that the DMT, which is what you produce when you're born and when you die, is also produced when you're dreaming. And some may even say when you are making love as well. So that knowing that we are releasing that same chemical tells me that there's this realm on a chemical level that we are accessing all together all the time. And once we are more connected at that space, I think we become superhumans, to be honest. I think we were that way. We lost it through evolution, through time, through centuries of technology advancement. And now we're just remembering how to come back to that ancient technology.
And integrate these, right? But for me, like, integration is one of the central words of these times.
Yes.
I think a lot of people speak about capitalism and technology and all that is fucked. Let's go back. Let's just be like primeval and so on.
There's no going back.
I think it's not possible.
No.
I think we are invited to bring that together.
Yeah. It's like, you know, either we let AI guide our culture or we become human beings that can guide AI to improve our culture. We have to work together. It's a AI human collaboration, and there's no other way right now, and it's fine, because as long as we know that we're part of the programming of a better AI human future, then we can help to enhance so many things in this world, optimize, integrate, as you say, and help Mother Nature to optimize herself. Yeah.
There is this, I don't know if you read, there's this fascinating book called Novacene by James Lovelock. He wrote that at age 99. He's one of the greatest scientists that ever lived. I think he died a couple of years ago. And he is speaking of the next age, the next epoch on our planet after the Anthropocene, as an epoch characterized by the merging of Homo sapiens and artificial intelligence into a new species that is, like what you just described, that is invited to bridge the flesh and blood with the and I think this new species that can arise will be modeled by who we become along the way. It will not be like something, I don't know, an evil enemy just coming out of a blue, whatever. It will be an evolutionary process, and the moment we as a species hold on to separation and extraction and like exploitation, war mentality, and so on, the technology will just enhance that, and it will make more extraction, more separation. But if we step into this place that I call custodianship, technology has the potential to enhance that and to multiply that, and I think that's the game that we're playing right now.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's really the goal, and that's why dreaming is so important at the moment. I feel it's so key at the moment to help people connect with that space within themselves before, technology comes and, I don't want to say invades, but penetrates that part of us that is still sacred and still untouched by big pharma, the big cats, the big tech companies, And so helping people to gain more awareness of that space helps also to safeguard that which is natural and, our sovereign technology.
And I think just the imagination. If we want to build a more beautiful world, we need to imagine it first.
Exactly.
Because if we cannot imagine it, like how can we think about building something new?
We need to dream it.
Yeah.
Just as like the sci-fi movies that we grew up with were dreamt up, where they were imagined. Yeah. And so connecting to that space helps us to also imagine in a way that is of custodianship to this planet. Yep. So
I'm super curious about that. How to unlock that? Like what was your path from the sleep disorders that you explained previously to now synchronizing your dreams with your partner and exploring these different realms, like besides every morning I get up and I note down, like what might the path look like?
Well, how much time on my imaginary watch do we have?
Time is an illusion.
Yes, time is a construct. That's a very big question you just asked me. It's a mammoth question. So, like I said, I grew up with insomnia and sleep paralysis. So for a long time, being dysregulated in my mood or not recovering from illness very fast, all of these things were just normalized, right? And it wasn't until I was about late teens that I started really understanding how people live past 100 years old. I read up on it. I was very curious. I really wanted to search for the epitome of health. And
the Blue Zone concept was a huge inspiration for the place that we're building here and trying to.
Lovely.
That's another topic.
Yeah, that's another rabbit hole. That's another rabbit hole. We need another podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started meditating, understanding the blue zones, eating raw vegan, all of this stuff. I think we spoke about this.
We spoke about this earlier.
And it led me to understand okay, I'm still not sleeping well, and I'm doing all the things that I think I should be doing. What's wrong? And it wasn't until uni, when I was studying design, that I got really into surrealism and what surrealism is about. And it's art that comes from a place that is surreal, which is dreamlike. And these artists would use their dream space to go in and find their ideas and to bring what they've seen into the tangible world. How are they doing that, and how are they tapping in? So that got me really excited about going to sleep, because then I could tap into this wealth of imagination, this abundance of imagination. And once I started doing that, it formed this kind of newfound relationship with sleep. And it led me to, just be excited for every night of going in there, right? And I started experimenting with different techniques for lucid dreaming as well, to see how I can play with that space a little bit more and be conscious, and also just having more awareness about how am I waking up, how am I feeling, and how am I eating, and all the different ways I can change my lifestyle to optimize my sleep as well. And I started realizing, like, wait a minute, like there are probably other individuals who are doing this as well, who are going into their sleep and finding ways to build a relationship with it. So that led me to scientists who use that space to conceive their works, their inventions, or different artists, musicians. The song Yesterday by the Beatles was conceived in a dream. So it's like...
Quick side story, because you mentioned artists.
Yes.
I love the... no, I don't know if it's true, but there's this notion about Salvador Dali. You probably know that, right? Him holding a very heavy key in his hand, falling asleep, dropping it, waking up because there was a metal plate beneath, and in this state of in between the worlds, he envisioned his paintings, his innovations, his creations. That's very fascinating.
Super fascinating. Actually, there's a really good movie about him. I don't remember now, something. I'll send it to you.
Cool.
Okay, and it shows how he's blurred the lines between the waking realm and what is surreal and what is dream, and he could not, at some point, tell the difference anymore. So that's when it gets a little bit like it's another space to navigate. I never got that way, not yet.
Tonight.
I like to have some boundaries. But then when I got into that, then I really wanted to dig deeper. So I taught myself how to use a video camera and video edit to see if I could make a mini documentary just for my own amusement of how designers are dreaming and what work they're doing, and make a link there. And I was just doing it with my friends and, filming whatever I could film and reenacting whatever I could reenact. And I made this mini documentary, which I worked on for 3 months. At night, tirelessly editing, you know the drill. And I found more often than not, either emotionally or visually or in some capacity, it was linked. That their subconscious mind and unconscious mind was linked to the conscious mind. And they were making a little bridge when you put enough intention into something. If you're incubating something a lot in your mind, it's gonna bleed over to that side, and it's a potential space to make connections, develop, to think of different pathways around that certain project that you're working on, whatever it might be, emotional or career, whatever it is. So I was like, wow, that's fascinating. That's amazing. Like, how do not more people know about this? And why is it so woo-woo? Why is it seen so woo-woo by society? In Chinese culture, this dreaming and tapping into the spiritual realm, as they say, is opening your third eye. And when you do that, you allow spirits in, and that's a taboo. So for a while, I couldn't tell anybody because it was just like, what age was that? I felt too encased by that. That was around 19, 20, around that age. So then, and I kept it closet because one day my whole building had a blackout and I lost everything. I could not switch on my comm. I could not get my hard drive to work. And so I lost 3 months of working on that. So always back it up, back it up, back it up.
Times.
Yeah. But I didn't have that much knowledge on the whole filmmaking process because I was just doing it to entertain myself and dig deeper into what I was doing. Can you imagine losing your footage? It was heartbreaking.
Happened many times before.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
All that work.
And you're like, I cannot the thing is, even if I would put in the time and the effort again, you cannot recreate it.
No,
it's
the
gone.
magic is
It's gone. Yeah.
So I thought, all right, universe, creator is telling me, stop.
Yeah.
Stop it with this.
Okay.
Shut the door.
Oh, I would have loved to see it.
Yeah. Shut the door. If you want to put rice on the table, take the skills you have learned in video making and use that. So I quit everything and I joined MTV and did that and focused most of my career on media.
No way. Interesting.
Instead of delving deeper into my dreams and expressing where that space could go to, I was just interpreting that into media. And my imagination was going that way.
Interesting.
And so that career led me from, doing work in things like National Geographic and Vice Media to more like sustainability focused work, which is what really filled my soul. But the whole time I was experimenting on dreaming. Quietly, creating my worlds, quietly experimenting on techniques, on herbs, and reading spiritual, scientific papers very quietly, because I thought, who's gonna listen? Who's gonna care? Maybe it's just for me to work on my own journey. And so that side of me was very hermit. Yeah. And I'm the kind of person, when I go into a rabbit hole, I really I go down. And it wasn't until the pandemic that I think I was speaking with a friend. I said, hey, there's this art museum and they want to explore working with different documentaries. Maybe I should make a documentary about dreaming and all this stuff. And then I got rejected. And so the friend said, why don't you just do it? What do you have to lose? We're in the pandemic. Nobody's doing what they think they're doing anyway. Nobody knows what's certain anymore. So what have you got to lose? Just do it. Just go out there and put yourself out there and speak about it. So every Sunday, I went on live stream and I just asked people, hey, what are you dreaming about? What sleep are you suffering with your sleep? Because people had financial losses, divorces, you name it, all kinds of sleep disrupting topics, Yeah. And then I started getting feedback, first from friends and then from outside of my friends groups. Yeah. They were messaging me their dreams, sending groggy voice notes in the morning, sending images, or even making songs. It was super creative. And then I did this one collaboration that I will never forget with a bar. And this bar, bars shut down because you couldn't let people in. And so how could they generate any revenue? Yeah. So they did this live stream where they would do live mixology and teach people about different cocktails and mixology and everything. It was keeping people very entertained. And they were like, okay, let's do a collaboration where I interpreted dreams. And then we had a beautiful harpist friend playing the ambient soundscape. So it was relaxing people. And then turning the dream interpretations into cocktails.
No way, how cool is that?
It's pretty cool.
That's super cool.
It's one of my favorite projects, for sure.
That's super cool.
I always talk about that one. Yeah. Shout out to you guys, Spiffy Dapper and Eloise Laarp. Yeah, so then that led me towards many different collaborations. Hotels, doing workshops for events, festivals. Just did one in Singapore, a super iconic landmark, super iconic. This place actually represents the different levels of hell and the afterlife, but it's super psychedelic. As kids, we used to go there, and then the parents would tell us, "Oh, if you steal, then this is gonna happen to you." Really messed up looking statues, really messed up. Or if you cheat on your partner, this is what's gonna happen to you. So you would take people there to like remind them how to be a better human through this psychedelic afterlife of an amusement park. I can show you pictures later.
Yeah.
It's super wild. And so there was a music, wellness, climate festival happening there. And they said, well, we would like you to close the festival with a dream journey. And I was like, wow, I'm so deeply, deeply honored to do this. Because, like we discussed, dreams are, for me, very parallel to, you know, how we look at death, the great mystery. And so that journey was themed around death and rebirth. And I did it together with two beautiful, amazingly talented friends, musicians, and they created an experience together with me. We co-created this beautiful experience to take everyone through what it feels like, what it could feel like to walk through death and come out of it. Yeah, it was insane. It was a very, very deeply moving experience for me. So this is the kind of work I want to bring to more people as well. Yeah.
Is this
Oh, so okay.
I brought the video from that you posted recently on your Instagram. Is this
That's
how it
the
looks
one.
like?
That's the one. I did not expect so many people to show up. Because when I started, it was maybe 3 people in the room. It's grown. And some have followed me for like 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
This shows the impact of
people want to sleep better. They're starting to accept that they want to sleep better. And explore that side, that third place that we go.
And what were the specific steps that you took towards cultivating this mystery, or like I would say even integrating it into your reality more and more and more? Are there specific habits that you developed, or like crazy experiments of like 2 weeks doing XYZ to explore? Like how does it look like? How does a day in Livy's life as a mad sleep scientist look like?
Oh gosh. Oh my god, becoming a cook. I love this question because integration is such a beautiful thing. And you know, we're living such fast lives, most of us, that where do we have space and time to integrate? So when we talk about integration, it's actually, one of them is in our sleep, but it's also how we integrate during the day and how we craft time out to really sit in reflection and just sit in reflection, not doing anything else, but integrating all of what has happened and what have we learned and taken away from it, how are we going to apply it. But a day in my life is literally finding integration every day. That's what it is. I will dream of something, note it down, interpret it, and then see where in my waking life I can connect with that dream. Whether that's finding the symbols in my everyday. You know, maybe I connect with an animal that I saw in my dream and I find time and space to sit with it. Or it could be that I've played out, for example, I've played out a whole day and full night being here at Custodia in my dreams, which is incredible. It's really truly a sign for me that I'm connected to that space and I'm reminded that I'm exactly where I need to be. It could be that I get visited by somebody in my dreams and I go and connect with that person, or the other way around. Maybe I visit them in whatever dream they're having and I go and connect with them. I make it a point to call them. And that for me, usually 9 times out of 10 was a very needed conversation to have in some shape or form.
How guided by the conscious is this process? Meaning, tonight I want to XYZ, setting the intention, then doing that. And how much is just receiving, surrendering, let's see what will happen, and then acting upon that as you did? Like you saw yourself, or you dreamed yourself being here, and then the next day you sent me the message, hey, can I come tomorrow? yeah, how is that?
What's
How,
the
how
balance?
how much do you feel in the driver's seat of your dream world, and how much is it just a letting go and being?
I love that question. That's a really great question. Like with life, how much do we surrender and how much are we in control? It's a little dance that we do, right? I only control up to a certain point, which is the intention setting. Sometimes no intention at all. I just want to have fun. Or I don't want to save people tonight.
Yeah, I don't want to save people.
Yeah, I don't. I'm tired. I don't want to save people tonight. I need a break. I need a break. I need to just.
Let me just
I
chill
need
this
some.
night.
I just need some peace. Let me relax. Then I do that.
I assume it could get an outlet because a lot of people are in the treadmill of I need to save the world, and if they would bring this into the third of their lives that is currently unaffected by that, and they bring it there as well, it could get quite a burden.
Yeah. We need to have inner peace to keep functioning. We need Zen in all this chaos. So it's a way to sharpen intuition for me. I feel like I really can empathize with the people I'm around. I feel very connected to the environment that I'm in. So for me, it's a way to feel always connected and anchored in whatever space I'm in. And then also, if I need to make decisions, then I have a compass, an inner compass. That could be for work, that could be for play, that could be for my relationship. There's some emotional well-being that I need to sort out. I can do that when I'm sleeping instead of like having to craft time out to go see a therapist all the time. I don't have the time to go see a therapist every week or so. It helps me understand if there's something wrong with my body. So different symbols in the dream also indicate certain parts of the body that need attention. Yeah. For example, in traditional Chinese medicine, if you're dreaming of fire or you're dreaming about like things burning up, something's wrong with your digestion. So it depends also on your cultural upbringing, right? Because a snake to me is different from maybe a snake to you. So, for me it could mean life and kundalini and all these things, or vital force.
Shedding of an old skin.
Shedding, transformation. And for you, it's like a threat to custodia. So, so many layers in which we can unpack. But you're building a bridge and that very strong connection to your intuition, which is important to live life and connect with people and connect with the environment around you. Yeah. To understand also how much you need rest and where your boundaries are. Yeah.
How do you think about nightmares? How do you think about dreams that are very unpleasant? Of like where you wake up in the next morning and you're like, fuck, what just happened? Like, how would you help somebody unpack that? Is there like a deeper me? Like, yeah, how to make sense of that? Why does it happen? How to move forward with unpleasant dream experiences?
Wow, it's so subjective what is unpleasant, and so subjective also to the symbols within the nightmare. But one thing is for sure, you wake up feeling unpleasant, right? So one way to navigate it is to first, I always say, give gratitude to the nightmare. It's coming for a reason. It's coming for you to pay attention to. There is unresolved feelings. There is either insecurity or fear around something, or there is like a need to protect something within you or around you. So it's always coming from a place of wanting to be resolved, which is great.
The truth wants to be shown, right?
It wants to emerge. You could call it a shadow or insecurity, but it wants to emerge for you to pay attention and for you to resolve it, and that's it. And when we start to look at a nightmare this way, then you are more tactical with it. It's less
you overwhelmed.
You form a detachment from it. So first pay gratitude, then detach, and look at it like from an outsider, and see, okay, why am I faced with these visuals? Why am I faced with these emotions? And then dig deeper after that, and see for yourself if, after you've reflected and resolved those feelings, either through action or through reflection, where does it go after that? Does the nightmare come back? Yeah. For example, I'm going to give one that always comes up, which is someone sitting in an exam and they're very stressed and, they're not completing the exam or they're failing in some way. This one comes up so much. And why it comes up is because very often we form our deepest, impactful emotions early on in our younger ages.
Sure.
It's when we first felt deep anxiety or first felt deep stress. And so
Or being left.
we create that
alone.
file in our emotional library. And then we bring it up again when we are experiencing those feelings in our waking life, later on in life. Yeah.
There's a beautiful image that comes to mind. Have you read The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer?
No.
You know the book? I love his work. He's a great teacher. And he has this metaphor that I find so beautiful. He always talks about the turquoise car, meaning in a past relationship, your partner drove a car with turquoise color. And this relationship is not, there's something that is not resolved. You're like either separated in an argument and then I don't want to see you again or whatever. There's still a lot of tension in this relationship. Every car on the road that you see with the same color will cause these same sensations, but it has nothing to do with the car. It's just a car. But I love this metaphor of everything that is happening to us, that we are observing in our outside world and our relationships. Everything is a turquoise car for something similar that took place in the past, maybe in your first years, or maybe last week, or in a last relationship, or in a past job, or whatever. And it is an invitation for you to give space to the feeling that arises. Oh wow, I feel upset, I feel angry, I feel this, I feel sad, I feel whatever. In order to let go of this turquoise car that is actually just the car. It has nothing to do with you or with those with those emotions that are arising. And through that, over time, we can become free of our past, whatever that means individually for everybody. But since we are carrying so many turquoise cars in our backpack, we cannot deal with the current reality because everything triggers something from the past and we're only dealing with the past and cannot be in the current moment. We cannot be in our relationship. We cannot be with our child. We cannot be with a specific challenge in our business because we're just dealing with past things that we are just carrying around all the time. So probably connecting this to the question about nightmares, probably if there's something coming up that feels unpleasant, where did you feel that in the past? What does it remind you of? And give space to that in order for it to
and
go,
understand
right?
why you attach value to that particular symbol. You bring up a car, so okay, this is I feel like there's a connection here. So I was so curious, about why we dream and how we dream. And I was wondering, do blind people dream? Because if they don't have any like visual sensory input, I'm talking those who are born blind, then what do they dream about? How do they process that space?
Interesting question.
And I thought, okay, I'm gonna go seek out the answers to this question because now I'm fascinated. So I follow my little curiosity, and it led me.
Was this a question that came up during a dream?
You could say that. You could say that. It came out because of sometimes having sleep and then black and then wake up type of episodes, and thinking, oh, well, what do blind people dream about? And I volunteered for a day at the Association of the Visually Impaired, so that I kind of just snuck myself in so that I could ask them questions. And just sitting with them, I had a little recording going on, but I haven't shared it because maybe it's not fully allowed yet. But I asked them, hey, what do you dream about when you sleep? And I was blown away by the answers. Speaking of car, one of them had dreamt of a car. They dreamt that they were driving the car with their partner and they felt successful driving the car. They have never seen a car.
Wow.
They're like, they've never seen a car. They've been blind their whole lives. They probably touched a car and they have some sort of an understanding that it has a structure and wheels and a sound. Yeah. And I said, okay, that's interesting. What color was the car? Guess what he said?
No way.
Purple.
Fuck.
How? So, yes, there is, to my understanding, acknowledgement for how we associate values to our different symbols. We associate meanings to different symbols. What about the symbols that someone has never seen ever in their lives? The colors that someone has never seen in their lives. And I truly believe that it's information that is just stored in our DNA. Like a giraffe knows how to walk when it's given birth to. Or a baby knows how to cry when it's being given birth to. It's information. And so the way we attach value to our symbols is also beyond our lifetimes. It's beyond what we know. It's so dependent on our ancient upbringing and the mythology and cosmovisions that we've been brought up with. Storytelling is such an imperative wisdom into understanding the dream world and how we process everything that we give value to. I mean, like, if you read *Sapiens*, so you know, he really, really hones in on that point of how storytelling is such a keystone to our evolution as human beings.
One of the most powerful technologies enabled. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
I think this is the moment for me to introduce one of my favorite books that I think you will absolutely love. I only have the German.
He's just letting us yap the whole time.
I only have the German copy here.
Okay.
The English title is The Continuum Concept.
Auf der Suche nach dem verlorenen Glück.
Very good. Yeah, In Search of Happiness Lost is how you would translate that. But the English version is called Continuum Concept, and because what you just described was basically the essence of what she calls continuum. It's this deeper knowing that is ingrained in a certain species. Your first German book.
Not my first.
This deeper knowing that is ingrained in a species that is so crucial to survival, and like her area of interest is how do we treat babies? How do we treat the tiny human beings that are born in a way completely helpless? And like what is the reason that we all know how to treat a baby? We know when a baby is crying, we should take it and skin to skin contact. That there's a certain, I think it goes even deeper than intuition. It's a knowing, it's a physical, like embodied knowing what to do in those situations. It's the same as breathing. Nobody told you how to breathe. You know how to breathe. It just works. Or digestion, or all these like essential characteristics of us as a species. And this is what she calls continuum. And if we would not had this, we would have gone extinct immediately. And this wisdom that is beyond teaching, beyond I do what I see. Okay, my parents are walking and I try to walk and this, I think you will love this book, but there's the acknowledgement that there's a certain sphere of wisdom that is almost this dreamlike state where you just know what is the right thing to do.
Thank you. This is coming at perfect timing because I'm getting ready to be a mom. So it's very, very in sync that you're gifting me this, because a lot of the things that I'm gearing towards and getting myself ready for is motherhood. So, and I speak a little bit of German, so this will help me.
You speak a little bit of German?
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Ja, ich habe in Deutschland gewohnt.
Oh, really?
Ja.
Where was that?
Kennst du Köln?
Ja, klar.
Ja, klar. Nordrhein-Westfalen.
Epic, cool. Okay, for our next podcast conversation, we definitely need to
Auf
dive in.
Deutsch.
No, I would say we dive into the topic of parenting and so
Okay,
on.
yeah, let's do it. Yeah, for sure. Let me read the book first.
Yeah, read the book first. But
I think you're still shocked that I speak German.
no, I'm. Yeah, this is when I when I said
Voll geil.
okay for the intro, because usually I dive what we did today. I dive right into the conversation, and then afterwards I read an intro. We need to include some parts of you speaking German. That would be funny for the German
Oh,
audience.
Oh gosh.
No, like this. I think this is a beautiful manifestation of what we shared in the beginning of, let's take the topic of sleep as an opener into all the realms that are opening up afterwards. And I think if we question things there, we need to question things everywhere. Like you cannot go through your life the same in the topic of parenting if you questioned how to sleep. Like you need to question all of that. Any closing? Oh, we didn't talk about polyphasic sleep. Let's save that for the next time.
There's so much to explore.
There's so much.
I haven't even told you about how what I've seeded in my dreams many years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, is now slowly unfolding into what I'm doing now in so many ways. So it's like when you put intention and create seeds in your subconscious and you water them all the time in your sleep as you're awake, and you form this connection the whole time, the ease and organic way in which things unfold is so beautiful. As it's too short to cover everything now. It's like, it's when people talk about the quantum, I understand it, because you are literally tapping into that realm all the time, but even more so in the state of sleep. Yeah, that's all I'll say. But closing words, okay. Maybe ask me a question, because like we spoke. So many tabs are open now. Like,
what is your harvest from today's conversation? What would you like to take away with yourself for the next steps of your own journey? And maybe what do you wish somebody following our 7 hours of conversation up until this point would like to take away?
okay, I'm gonna popcorn this.
Of course, just throw it.
So, rest is a right, not a reward.
I think these were your opening words in the beginning. I love it. And it's the closing as well.
And home and sanctuary can be found anywhere you're at, but you need to cultivate that anchor within yourself. And that anchor can be cultivated through rest, deep intentional rest and dreaming. And why dreaming is important is because you have access to a wealth and abundance of information and beauty and imagination every night when you go to bed. It's just about remembering. Yeah, and I feel very deeply that once we are in a place of being able to regenerate ourselves constantly as a vessel and be the custodians of our vessel, then we can much better be custodians of this planet and continue to protect her so that she may continue to teach us.
I love that. Truth bomb.
Mic drop.
I love that. Livy, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Looking forward to the next
Danke
one.
sehr. Ich heiße Livy. Ciao.
Thank you for all the important work that you're doing, and for sharing that with the world and making that accessible, and walking the path of custodianship and of curiosity and of care and deeper listening and uncovering what lies beneath what I currently know. I find that very beautiful and very important and very, very inspiring. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for our shared time together today. Looking forward to the next one.
Me too. See you soon.
See you soon. Danke. Didn't anticipate
Wir sehen uns.
closing the
Yeah.
podcast in German today.
You never know what happens, right? It's always a surprise.
It's all a dream.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's all a dream.
That's it.
Yeah.